further ado, I want to first introduce Jennie Thompson, you guys, who's been with Isagenix for over 6.5 years now. She is the brightest yellow. For those of you that know the color code, I mean, she's all about fun. And literally, I think no matter what she does, if she's like shoveling snow around bears in Tahoe, or she's hiking, or, you know, she's drinking wine, like she just makes this always look so good. And she has so much integrity around the products, around the company. I honestly do not know if there's another person that checks in with their team more than her. I mean, she's such a great coach. Her retention is incredible. But because she brings so much fun to the party, I wanted her to hop on here and share a little bit about your story. And Jennie, in like, not the 30-second version, but not the 20-minute version, you know, a little bit of kind of how it came into fruition, really the quantum leap that you had during the pandemic and what that looked like. And then I'd asked Jennie to specifically chat about events and the value of events, what they've done for her, and really what they do for other people, as we are like selling out celebration this week. You guys have all got to get there. And she's a 2-star, you guys. She's a 2-star Golden Circle, which I don't really care about the ranks. I care more about their stories and who they are, but she's a badass in this company.
Thank you, Miss Lauren. I appreciate you so much. I have not talked on these for a while, but I started with Isagenix. It's actually been over 7 years. So March 2015, I woke up and I just felt not myself. You know, I lost my spunk. I couldn't fit into my jeans. And Kisa and I were just acquaintances at that time. She was my Facebook friend. And, you know, she's always good about posting. So I wake up one morning and I'm like, girl, what are you doing? And so we get on the phone. 10 minutes later, I'm buying something I know I'm going to be returning. And fast forward over 7 years, I now like put these products in my body every single day. I've tried every single thing that comes out over the last 7 years. Really, really love our products. So at the beginning, she said, are you interested in the business? And I said, absolutely not. I work for the government. I, work at the restaurant nights and weekends. I don't need a third job. So I'm feeling great. People are noticing. Of course, I was referring. So I was making about 10,000, 12,000 a year. Just, hey, yeah, I'm doing this. This is great. And sometimes I would talk to them. Sometimes I'm like, Kisa, do the work for me. I don't want to do it. But then, the pandemic hit in 2020. I was a business owner at this time and my business crashed. I had no income. And I just put all my effort and my love into this company. And I then, within less than a year, was making as much as I was, if not more, with Isagenix than I was working for the government. And I was supervising. I mean, I was making good money at the government, and now I was like sitting in my house, traveling, working wherever I wanted, picking my schedule. And like Lauren said, I'm a yellow. I like to have fun. I don't want to ask for time off. I want to go everywhere. So I'm very, very grateful that that this company has just given me all of that. So, okay, let's talk about events. So even when this was not my business, y'all, I was going to events. So you got to go. Put a 1 in the chat if you already bought your ticket, because I'm going to Orlando and I'm going to see you all there. I want hugs. I want high fives. I want champagne, all the things. So they're, yay, no, I was so excited. If I can fly from California to Florida, y'all can go, right? So a lot, I was trying to think when Lauren's like, talk about events. I'm like, oh shoot, how do you, explain this when you've never been to one? Number one, you get to see people that you have never met in person. And it is so freaking exciting to be in that room with so many people that are like-minded, right? We're all there to help people. We're all there to motivate, improve people's lives. And you have them all in one room. It's insane. You get goosebumps when people are on stage talking. Emily Vavra has brought me to tears. Jessica Rigner is going to be there, you guys. Like, she's gonna be talking. I cannot wait to see her on stage. Zach Slobin, oh man, oh gosh, I just love him. He's so real, and he just, they pump into you so much information, and you're learning about the products. You're learning about the business skills. And even if you're like, I know it all, no, you're gonna still improve. We're always growing, right? So why wouldn't you do this? I'm always learning something different when I go to these events. And they have their shops, so you can shop. And if there's a new product, guess what? Everyone at home's not getting the new product. And I'm in the store getting the deals, and shoving it all in my suitcase so I can get it home. Kathy and Jim and Eric are there, and they're pouring so much into you. And I'm very grateful that we had, some of the events on Zoom live these last few years, but going in person is like a whole nother world, you guys. I remember back in the day when this was not my career, I was literally sharing beds with people I'd never met. I was like, what? You have a room? Great. And they're still my friends to this day. I'm like, you just roll over. You're like, nice to meet you. I'm your bunk buddy. So, any way you can get there, get there. I have slept with multiple women strangers and they're all my friends now. Yeah. Now Kisa and I share a room. What? But you're growing while you're there. You're getting inspired. The community and the culture is absolutely amazing. You get to dance with the e-shots. If you haven't seen the DJ, I call him my boyfriend. I hope he never sees this video, but I'm absolutely in love with the DJ. It's 8 a.m. You're dancing. It's just so much fun. You get swag. Usually I got backpacks. They give you books. They give you pens. They'll put product in it. Oh, you know what? Also, I got some quotes from people, short ones. So, I don't want to talk too much. Oh, okay. So Amanda, this is what she has to say about events. Events are non-negotiable. Get your team in the seats, get pumped up, get fired up, get shocked. Truth bombs are going to drop and you're going to be amazed. I mean, heck yes, you guys. Michael, this event is just what I needed. Every year they find ways to make it better and better. It's a giant party with people who value health and well-being. I wouldn't miss it. Yes. All right, Lindsay, the training, growth, and community that comes from celebration is invaluable. The inspiration and motivation found at the flagship event is priceless and cannot be found anywhere else. Guys, if you don't have a ticket, get on your phone right now while you're on the Zoom call and purchase it. If I'm going, I want to see you there. That is Jenny's middle name. Yes. I wrote some notes. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything I'm missing, Miss Lauren? I mean, I just get so excited.
I love it. And I love that you did a call to action. If you guys don't already have your ticket, I think you should absolutely get it. And it's true. I mean, honestly, that whole thing about girls sleeping in beds, people that haven't even met yet. I mean, that happens all the time because we don't care if the hotel room goes down to $20 a night. So we put a bunch of you in there. It's the best and they will be your friends. But it's really learning from the best. It's seeing the culture. You cannot get the same thing on Zoom. It's showing what's possible and it's learning from people who have done it, and people who are cross-line, people who are in different teams, what's working for them, and just the real belief in this industry in the heart of our company. So Jenny, I'm so thrilled that you said that. I'm going to tee it up to Kisa right now. They didn't know the order this was going to go into, just because of Kisa is a great mentor to Jenny, but she's also a yellow, just like so much fun. But Kisa, I would love for you to tell a little bit about your story. Kisa's been with us for many years too, 8 years as well. And I would love for you, in addition to your story, one of the things that Kisa has done so well that I asked her to talk about is she has embodied and created community within her team. So she is a powerful leader. She's a 3-star. She has grown a large organization. And from people who joined her 8 years ago or people that joined last week, she has a really fun Facebook page. And I've watched her do things from contests to doing the challenges together. Her dad was an Isabody, finalist, to them doing hikes together and Botox parties together. And I just always think like, oh my gosh, for all the people that are in California, you just always make this fun. And if you are not following Kisa, you should follow her on Instagram because she has great stories and great content. But it's like collagen, Bloody Mary with shrimp on it, and I'm hiking, and then there's some weight loss, and now I'm with my kids, and it just like you ooze the Isa life. So I would love for you to tell your story and just really some tips for other people to create that community, because you do have retention and a ton of loyalty.
Well, thank you. Hi guys, happy Monday. So a little bit about my story is I joined Isagenix 8 years ago. Just over 8 years ago. I was at the time a single mom. I was working a full-time job, kind of barely making ends meet financially. I had seen something that Lauren had posted, or a few things she posted, and I was just really looking to lose like a few sticky pounds, nothing crazy. And so we chatted. I just wasn't ready. I think I put it off for about 4 months, and Lauren was very consistent. I think we've counted like 11 or 13 times she reached out to me. So the reach outs are key. And I absolutely fell in love with the products as soon as I started taking them. And, I knew that there was an income opportunity that was attached to it. And I did get excited about that possibility. I think I was thinking, I am working a full-time job that I don't really love. This is an option that maybe I could make a little extra money, a little extra padding so that I wasn't so stressed out, at the beginning, middle, and the end of every single month. So it was a lot for me to consider getting the products, but then once I put them in my body and started sharing them, it just kind of came easy. And I just loved it so much that I was sharing so often. I was making a good amount of money back. And I thought I could do this. I really wanted to spend time with my daughter. She's now 19, which is wild to think that she was so young when I started. And my biggest why was to spend more time with her and have that time freedom, because we were already doing the whole split time with me and her dad. And so my time already was limited. I didn't want to limit it more. So that was really my driving force with sharing Isagenix and growing a team. And so, the fact that she's now in college, even though she lives with us, it's just really wild to look back at the last 8 years and see all that has come to fruition and all that Isagenix has given me the opportunity of that extra time. And so that's why I love sharing it with other people, because I think everyone deserves that option and that opportunity. And I always as far as the contests and the community, I think you have to figure out what works best for you, whether you're just joining or you've been in Isagenix for a couple of years or even a longer period of time than that. A lot of it's trial and error, kind of figuring out what works best for your team, for the people that have joined you. What works for Lauren doesn't always work for me. What works for me won't always work for all of you, but it's good to take tidbits of information of what is working for others and see if you can maybe apply it. So when I first started, I started my own Facebook group. I know a lot of us are over adding people to so many Facebook groups, but the reason why it's worked well, and I talk about it, is because over the last 8 years, everyone that's joined my organization has been added to that group, whether they've stayed in it, left, or muted it. I don't always know. But what's interesting is that there's people that were enrolled by, someone deep in my downline, and they've gone inactive and they see something that's posted and they are re-engaged and want to re-enroll, or they see a promotion that we're doing, or they see a contest, or they see a group activity like a 30-day, and you just never know what's going to pop out at someone. So that's why the group has worked well for us. I really like to kind of tag team with my other leaders, especially with Jennie, because we can do so much more when we join forces together. But just, it can be as simple as reimbursement on shipping, if you're trying to cycle, or even just engaging in the group and offering to do I'll do a raffle for a box of e-shots, or I've done, Lululemon for top enrollers before. Anything like that, it just gets people kind of excited. I think right now, something a lot of people might like is a gas card, because that's all anyone ever talks about is how expensive gas is. So, you can kind of pick on that and pick and choose what works best for you and just try. But I think that people are always more engaged if they feel like they're included, or they feel like their contribution is appreciated or desired. And so that's why it's nice to just kind of come together in a group setting. And even a few weeks ago, I went back through old posts that were in my team page of times years ago that we did 30-day challenges or 11-day challenges. And I commented on the ones that had a lot of engagement and said, hey, we're doing another 30-day challenge. We're doing another 11-day challenge if anyone wants to join. And people back from, years ago asked to be a part of it again and reactivated themselves or re-enrolled, and I think there was a girl that had started back right when I started, and she just re-enrolled again after 8 years. And so you just never know who's watching and what's going to engage someone. So that's why it's just fun to kind of look back on those threads or those contests or just anything that people participated in, and just kind of remind them that, hey, I'm still here, and I'm still here to support you if you want to be a part of what we've got going on.
So good. I love that, you guys. And it's so funny because like Kisa adds a lot of value in like to our bigger page, but I'm in her smaller one. And there was like a period of time and I'm like, can I steal that? Can I steal that? Because they're fun things. And I mean, I remember once like she gave away like a vegetable spiral like thingy, like to make like zoodles or things that you wouldn't buy for yourself, or like cool little bags. Like she had gotten, you know, like a gym bag or like a tote bag and said, hey, I'm giving this away for XYZ. And it gets people involved in either something they can't get on their own. You know, it was something that she had local to her area, or people won't splurge on themselves. You'll find that people could afford it, but they just don't. It's like, oh, I don't really need that. But when it's a gift or they can win it, you know, it makes people feel good. And I just love that. And in addition to that, and I just want to brag on her because there's a lot of value. And we think about keeping the relationship going after the initial part and like enrolling them. Kisa adds a ton of value with recipes, with workout tips, and just putting people together. You know, she used to do it, you know, when like her daughter was like more in high school and stuff, and she would do these like coffee shop like meeting appointments, and I would see her, you know, just kind of get people together and make that fun. But they would meet up and they would hike, and they would meet up and they would go run the cliffs, or I forget what it's called, but like the rocks that are over by her. But it's like, hey, I'm making this, and then here's where you can get everything, and just made it simple. And so I want to leave you guys with the idea of just adding value. And part of the reason that people come back to her and nowhere else and are so loyal, because there's so much value outside of like that initial PIB and that enrollment. So thank you so much. And Keith, I know people are asking in the chat, if you want to type in there other cool giveaways you've done or things like that, I'm sure it would be helpful. So I am actually going to go to Miss Emily Sutherland next. You guys, she went 3-star in a year. She just kind of came right out of the gates with fire, just because she knew the products had worked. She'd used them a couple of years previously, but she really came back for the business during the pandemic. And Emily, I would love for you to chat a little bit about your story, but actually what I've asked Emily to talk about tonight, in addition to her story, is really how she, what Jessica has coined now, you know, drive the line, that Emily is so good at digging deep into her team. And she had more rank advancements, you know, in her organization in a really short period of time. People that went executive, people that went director, a whole slew of managers, many, many consultants. And I would love for you to just be able to talk about and how you did that, how you identified the runners, you know, how you were able to find people that were not your personally enrolled. And I think that there's a lot of people that are thinking, none of my people are moving, or, you know, like, how do you find the, you know, studs within the duds type of thing? And you are excellent at that. So I'm mute so you can tell your story and teach the team.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So nice to see you guys. I did start distinctively because of the business, even though I had my both hands up saying absolutely not, no way I will ever do this. I'm a nutritionist first and foremost. And then the pandemic hit, and it hit hard, and it hit home. My husband lost his job. I made zilch. I made $7,000 in the year 2020. That's it. And I didn't know how I was going to live. And I knew I had to back up, and I knew I had to figure out what to do. So I called Lauren, which I deemed the crazy ISA lady at that point, who was a fellow colleague of mine. I knew she was a nutritionist. I knew she had gone to the same school, but boy, when she locked arms with me, I was blessed by gold in 1,000 different ways. And I will forever be grateful for her, because she showed me the pathway, and we dug in deep, and I went as hard and fast as I possibly could. And yes, I went 3-star in a year, which I absolutely love. And it's pretty cool that I was able to do that. I never realized it was that cool until now. So in regards to driving the line and digging deep, I have a beautiful team. And I will say the number one trait that I see within my entire team is gratitude, 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 gratitude. They are the most grateful, most genuinely thankful people I have been able to meet, and they're so solid. So the cool thing about getting to know them is, I know that some other leaders will say go 4 levels deep. I went 6, I went 7, I went 8. I was doing events clear down my line. And I was having them call me, because at that point, I was the only one who knew the compensation plan. At that point, I was the only one who knew all of this. And so I was on call after call after call. And I feel so blessed that I was able to do that. And boy, it made me learn fast and hard. But I was able to get to know people. Hey, this gal's Tara, she's a hairstylist. She has her own business. She's struggling. Let's do this. And then another gal, I've been in network marketing for a long period of time. I haven't really seen the money coming in. Well, let's talk about it differently. And when I was able to really dive into their story and get to know them, that was what made the biggest difference. Going deep or not, that was really what made the biggest difference. So, and it's everybody's goal is different. I had my gas pushed down as hard as I possibly could, because I know that I wanted to come home from working from a chiropractor, and I never wanted to work for corporate America again. And I wanted to stay home with my girls. That was the most important thing to me. I have itty bitty girls and I want to spend as much time, and everybody's looking for time. You just have to figure out where that is the most important, what time really will give them, and really dive into that. So I've had them share their goals. We constantly share goals. I still share goals. And be vulnerable, share yours. I've taken a little step back and now I'm diving right back in because my baby is only 4 months old, but my goals were way higher, and it doesn't matter what your number is. Share it and put it out there, because you're putting that energy. And then show love to your team. Lauren really taught me this. And even just if it's a tiny little card or a itty bitty little gift given from Amazon, I will tell you, she taught me that. And I'm so thankful, because having a little handwritten note, having a little, oh my gosh, girl, you're doing amazing, it gives a lot to your team, a lot. And it gives a lot to me. So she's constantly pushing that. And I tell you, I have locked onto that big time. But also teach people to be okay with the no. That was where a lot of my team didn't quite realize, okay, well, all the way down, what are you going to see? Teach people to be a-okay with, if you talk to 600 people a year and you fail 90% of the time, 90%, you are still enrolling 60 people. That's awesome. Who doesn't? I want 60 enrollments. That's awesome. So you have to be okay. It's not personal. It is so not personal. And I know we all love these products, but it really is about showing you and what you can do for them and being a service to them. So also I taught my entire team how this can be a lifestyle and reallocating their grocery bill. And I think that's really important, because even me, I just tried the Zango recently, and hello, I've been in here for almost 2 years at this point, but I just tried Zango. I just did. So it is a lifestyle. It is different things that you get to try, and really being able to back that up. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to know everything about every single product, even though so many people think they need to know all the deets, and it's just not the case. But I will say that leaders always go first. So I wanted to show up on every single team call, because I didn't know what one of my team members were going to be on that. I wanted to be there because I wanted to make sure that I was on every single work it call, as many as I possibly could be, because I didn't know who's going to be there. And I wanted to be able to answer their question, because I wanted to be their leader. And yes, I know Lauren will always be there for me. And I know Laura will always be there for me. And they have helped me so much with my team. And I'm so thankful. Even Jennie and Kisa have both helped me. And, I've been running hard and fast and ignorance on fire 100%, but it was worth it 1,000 times over. And, but keep the enthusiasm up, keep the energy up. Something else that I've done a lot is your group threads that you create together with a text thread, reevaluate those, do it again, and then do it again, and whittle it down and get rid of the dead weight. And I hate to say it, but you can't drag people. As much as I've wanted this so hard for certain people, they don't want it. And lo and behold, the one person who I approached, the very first person who I ever approached, who I wanted to go into business with, she just barely came to me and said, all right, I want this nootropic. And you have no idea how excited I am, because I'm like, you're going to be with me. You get to work with me. So but share your goals, share your why, keep it in front of your face, and tell your entire team to take pictures of this. Do you know how many times I've gotten pictures from Kathy showing me pictures of her why all over her car and in her bathroom and everywhere? That, go do it now. Create your visualization that can really make you drive and go deep. But also little things that helped me as a newbie that I don't think right now, I haven't been doing as much, but I felt lost because there was meeting after meeting after text thread after text thread. So check in and send them, hey, there's a team call. Now it's second nature. But when people are first getting into this, they don't know. They don't get it. What's so important about a team call? No, it's really this. If I'm running with you, team call, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're doing it. You're getting on. This is how it goes. And really creating the urgency behind it. So go with your movers and jivers and just embrace your team and meet them where they're at. Because even if they want to go slow, that's fine. Sometimes they'll come around, and sometimes it's just not the season for them. So that's what I have to share. Thank you.
So good. You guys, so many little golden nuggets in there. And I love this. I mean, those one-liners and the personal development and the things that you see in the different perspective. And Emily will say she's like an orange, I mean, she's got this yellow fun personality too, but she is, goal oriented. And she really treated this like a business because her family depended on it. And I watched her be able to not only like birth her second baby at home and buy this new beautiful home, but everything that she said is so true. I mean, she is this amazing group thread, and they do share their goals and they share their gratitude, and they're so appreciative of each other. But she has tenacity that you guys can see. And I remember one of the first times that she came to my house, I'm not kidding you, she's like nursing and she's like enrolling somebody, and she's like got my whiteboard. She's like, no, and if you get two. And before she even really knew what was happening, just the excitement and the enthusiasm. And she really has this standard that you're going to partner with her and you're going to get your products for free and then some. And she really, because she's been on both sides of really struggling and then had quite a lucrative income in a short period of time, can not only cast the vision, but she's very relatable. But I mean, I have literally sat there many times. She's like, okay, not this, then what? And that boldness and that ability to be like, okay, in 10 years, what are you going to do? You still going to be doing that? And most people don't want to ask those questions. And I really just want to celebrate that, because so many people in her team were doing ATMs and doing group messages. And if you guys have not heard from last Tuesday, Brandy and Nikki's PVC 123 call, holy moly, they blew that out of the freaking water. That was so good. But they're talking about those group messages, and both of them were saying how they were put all these people on messages with Jessica. And I remember at that time, Jessica was like, I think I've got like 20 messages today, from Nikki, and they did it. And Emily's team did that too. And so her posture and her conviction and her enthusiasm, where everyone was new. And then she was really identifying who to run with. And that's where Sheila came from, and Kathy came from, and Claire came from, and so many of these amazing people. That I want you guys to really leverage that and leverage your leaders and leverage those third-party messages, because they will find the people to run with and develop those new class. It's so, so, so important. So last and by no means least, I want to hear from Laurie. You guys, she has been with us also for 8 years, and Laura has an amazing story. This was 100% an accidental business. Like she always says, if someone had told her there was a business, she wouldn't have done it. It came for the products. I will let you tell your story, Laura. I don't want to take that away from you, but one of the things that I really wanted her to share about tonight was where she's networking, where she's meeting people, and that 8 years in, how she still has, 10 plus enrollments every single month. I mean, Laura's constantly my top enroller every week, every month, and naturally, it's not like, she's 100 people smile and dial until she gets an enrollment. And I said, I would love for you to talk about that, because we hear it all the time. Like, I've run out of people, or there's no one for me to talk to. And we're like, really? Like we're in 27 markets and all the millions of people everywhere. And I would love for you to leave us with that tonight, Laura.
Well, thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys, are we not getting the most amazing tidbits? Like, I'm definitely going to the event. Thank you, Jenny. I can't wait to see you. And Kisa, you inspire me in everything that you do to drive volume and to take care of your customers. It's just incredible. And Emily, I learn from you every single day how far down you dig and just how you hold your people accountable and love on them. It's amazing. So I'm just grateful for all of you and everything you shared tonight. So I wanted to start there. Yes, so 8.5 years ago, I was puffy and bloated and exhausted and cranky and a miserable mom and wife because I felt crappy all the time. And I was really searching for something to help me feel better. Just by chance, after trying a bunch of different things that didn't work, someone said, hey, have you ever heard of Isagenix? I didn't know what it was. I tried to order it. Long story short, got connected to Lauren. She took my order over the phone and I put the products in my body. I didn't really have much coaching. I just read the materials in the box, did what it said. And 8 days later, I was spewing rainbows out of my mouth and just felt incredible. I was lit up from the inside out, felt amazing, and you couldn't shut me up. And I think that's a good reminder for people when you're talking to people, just tell them how great you feel, share how amazing you feel. You don't have to know every ingredient. People want to be inspired. Just share your story, tell them how great you feel. So that's that part. And I did exactly that. And I accidentally made some money. I had no idea how it happened. I called Lauren and said, why am I making money? And found out it was one of those things that I had avoided my entire adult life. Had friends that were selling everything and begging me to join them to sell jewelry and kitchen items and blah, blah, blah. And not that I had anything against the industry, I just didn't understand it and didn't want to buy a kit or a pack and beg all my friends to have parties. So I was really caught off guard to find out Isagenix was one of those things because I didn't buy a kit and I didn't have parties. So loved what I was able to create. I was living in New Jersey at the time.
You muted yourself, babe. You said I'm living in New Jersey and you
Oh,
hit
so
mute.
sorry. You know what? I must have hit my notebook. We were living in New Jersey when I started my business, had a nice little team growing in New Jersey, and we wound up moving to St. Louis, Missouri. And in that, I was excited because I'm like, oh, all of St. Louis, Missouri, I don't know anybody. This is going to be awesome. But when I got there, I was like, how am I going to go meet all of these people? I don't know anyone. So what will I do? And so the very first thing that I did was I went online and I started looking at like different events or networking groups, or I went to Meetup is actually the very first thing I did. And I thought, let me see what's going on Meetup. Maybe I'll find some people there, which led me to an introduction to some small women's networking groups. So I would encourage you guys, if you're like, gosh, I just don't know where I'm going to find my next person, take a look at networking groups. There is a multitude of them. There's health and wellness networking groups. There's professional, like the BNI's, the Business Networking International. There's women's groups. Tons of women's groups all around the country, and small little networking connections. So if you're just feeling a little bit stuck right now, I would say just go out and meet some people at some networking groups. Some of them might land on you. Yep, small business entrepreneurs, all different. There's business after hours just about anywhere. And you can Google this stuff. And you'll get, for me, I had to get out of my comfort zone a little bit because I'm like, well, who am I to be talking to all these business people, right? So I had to make sure I had some business cards and I had something exciting to say about what I did when I walked in, because the very first thing everybody's going to ask you is, hi, what is your name and what do you do? Do you have a business card? So be prepared for those first 3 questions. Have a good elevator pitch, something catchy that people are going to be like, oh, tell me more about that. So those are some tips on that. I would say the success that I've had in networking, and I do a ton of it. I run 2 networking groups here in St. Louis in 2 totally different areas of the city. And it's very much about building relationships. I can connect on social media. I've enrolled a lot of customers and met a lot of people through social media that have joined my business, but I am really I feel like I'm in my groove when I'm with people, right? So if I can sit down and have a cup of coffee with you and really talk with you and hear your story, I can always find a way Isagenix, whether it's the products or the business, are going to fit into your life. And it's an easy introduction. I find cold messages through like Facebook Messenger, DMs on Instagram, they still work and I still do them all the time, but it just doesn't have the same touch to it. And I think really the enrollments continue to come because I'm belly to belly with people. I'm talking to them. I'm looking in their eyes. They feel my heart and they see what I'm about. So I think that the networking piece, the face-to-face networking has really been a blessing for me, but it really is, you guys, about building relationships. It's not necessarily just like social media. It's not a quick game. Like you might get some people right away who are like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. But in many instances, you're building relationships with people that pay off over time. Right. So like I just enrolled a woman. I've been networking with her for 4.5 years. Something finally landed on her. And she was like, I need that in my life right now. But we've known each other for 4.5 years. I see her at a meeting every single week. But it's that consistency in building relationships, just like utilizing social media to build your business. It's consistency, building relationships, letting people see who you are. So it's very similar. I just really like that belly to belly, that face-to-face connection with people. It works really, really well for me. So coming to a brand new city, not knowing anyone, I just kind of jumped into the networking scene. And now some of those people that I network with are some of my very, very best friends. So if you're kind of in a rut and you're like, where do I go? Maybe you work full time and this is part-time for you. There's after hours networking. There's meetup groups. So if you're not necessarily wanting to network like more professionally, go to meetup. Like if you like to hike, if you like to walk dogs, you know, there's like groups that get together on Saturdays and walk dogs. There's groups that get together and they go kayaking, they go hiking, they go to the movies, they try different restaurants. I found a group that goes once a week and tries all different Mexican restaurants, Kisa. So there are a million ways to go out and meet people. And the last thing I'm going to say, everywhere I go, I talk to people. And that might be something that's uncomfortable for some of you, but I promise, like I'm standing in line at the grocery store and I'll say to the woman ahead of me, oh my gosh, I absolutely love your glasses, right? She'll have like really cool sunglasses on the top of her head or her shoes. I'll start a conversation. First of all, it's so much nicer to go through your life talking to people. Right? And just being pleasant and complimenting people and being kind, you're going to be happier all day long, but you're going to be really surprised at how many incredible people you meet along the way. So, oh, good job, Brandy. So there's people everywhere. Just put your phone down, open up your eyes, look, talk, compliment, meet people, find some meetups, find some places to go connect outside of your normal routine and watch your business go. That's my very best advice.
So good. You guys, I hope that you're finding some value listening to all 4 of these amazing, amazing women. I looked at that thing as I said 3 new messages. That's why I said 3 instead of 4. If you guys would love to, put some takeaways in there, I'd love to just see it in the chat right now, some things that you are learning and what's landing on you, and fill these girls' cups up. But, Jennie is so spot on events, and truly they shift you. And Jessica and I have told you, had Jennie not got us there, we wouldn't be here today. I mean, without a doubt, we would not be here. We wouldn't have the incomes, we wouldn't have the teams. I mean, it was our skepticism. The only way for us to really, truly see the potential was to get there. And now the richness and the fun and the theme parties and, the sleepovers and all the friendships, all of that is there. But really the belief is incredible. And I hope that Kisa gave a ton of value, with those contests, with the giveaways, with the incentives, with the community, because this is what makes it not like a job, right? And really that we are doing things together. And Emma's fierce, with driving the line and really digging deep and asking those tough questions and having that tenacity. And I have seen Laura literally talk to everybody and just make it so natural. I mean, you hear her, right? And you just want to be her friend. And that's why this is so great, because she doesn't show up with like samples everywhere with Isogenics on the back of her car and like carrying an Isogenics water bottle and getting everybody Isogenics pens. I mean, she's not vomiting Isogenics wherever she goes, but she's excited and it naturally draws people in. And I wanted to just briefly tell you guys just a couple of things before we wrap up the call. So don't feel like you have to answer this. I know that I put out an audacious goal last Monday night, but I challenged you guys to basically do 70 reach outs, right? And to talk to 5 people that were either inactive or 5 people who were new people to try and bring them in. It was like, imagine if we talked to like 70 people, right, throughout the promotion. And that's a lot. And I know that was a stretch goal. So if anyone did it, I actually would love to see if anyone had did that. And if not, that's okay. We don't need to like poo if you didn't do it. I'd love to celebrate those that did, but really to lean on that of what Laura was saying in the way that we want to build this business. So I have sat with Jess, you know, we've traveled a lot of places together. And I have seen Jess just prospect like I've never seen anybody prospect through Instagram and through Facebook in these groups. And she's great at it. You know, I mean, Jess can type you in a way that you hear her voice, and then she voice texts you, and it's amazing. And she finds remarkable people. That is not great for me. I mean, I will do it because I think it's an income producing activity and I love this business. But I'm like, that doesn't sit well with me. I want to be out and about. I want to meet people. I'm a total extrovert, and my energy of like sitting around, even if I'm standing up and voice texting, you know, and I'm like, hey, Jana, it's Lauren. Oh my gosh, landed on your page. Like I can do it, but naturally when I meet people that I want to be friends with, and it is the people you want to travel with, the people you want to do Zooms with. I mean, the people that come your friends. I mean, literally never has Kisa or Jenny or Laura or Emily or a million people text me and I've been like, oh my God, I have to get on the phone with that person today, right? I mean, not even once. I'm like, what's up? Like, I would love to be able to do that. But I want to just share with you guys because I believe in transparency, okay? Based on what Laura was saying, my May leader in action was the lowest leader in action points I've had as long as I've been tracking this, which I don't even know. Is that 4 years? You guys, how long have we been doing LA? I mean, it was something before this, but I think it was 4 years ago, okay? But the absolute lowest that it has been, I had 46 points. And for some of you that are much less than that, I'm not saying that to poo-poo you, okay? I always have the 20 points in, you know, my second PET, and I always have my executive points, you know, but between my enrollments and mostly my rank advancements, those were the lowest. And I was not a fan of it. Like right away, and did my egg retrieval, had a lot of things that were happening, but if anyone knows me, I'm like, I don't make excuses, right? I was very grateful for every single one of those points. I was very grateful for every single cycle, the entire month, but I was like, watch out, June, like watch out, because I'm going to Fiji, and I didn't love that. And it's Monday, and I had 3 enrollments in today before noon. I had 8 last week, and I have 6 new consultants in the last week from last Monday. Mike Mallory actually called me today. I was like, what are you doing? Like, what just happened? And where are all these people coming from? And I'm not telling you that because my leader in action points are like already over 80, and we still have this week, you know, I mean, it's already like doubled of where I was. And I'm telling you this because of what Laura just said, because people always say, how did you do it? Right. And it's like, what did you decide to do? And so as she was talking, I took a few notes, and one of them is like, I'm so clear on my avatar. I am so clear on who I will work with and who I don't want to work with, right? Like if you want to buy collagen, fine, you can buy collagen. But if we're actually going to sit down and talk about the business, and I'm going to do events with you, and I want you to travel with me or whatnot. I mean, if someone at any given point could ask me like the top 10 characteristics of who I'm looking for, without a question, I know their age. I know that health and wellness and fitness is super important to you. Like my dream is to go like work out with someone and then go get a smoothie bowl and work all day together, right? Like if you think we should like go have fast food and meet after I'm done working out, like you're not my person, right? Like I love you, cheers to you. Like you're not my person. I don't want you sleeping in my bed at Celebration with stinky French fry farts, right? Like, sorry, that's just not my jam. But I know their tenacity. I want someone who's positive. Like if you're constantly overwhelmed and it is constantly exhausting, trying to like dig you out of like negativity or whatever is overwhelming you, we all have shit. We all have it, right? And why do some people deal with it differently? Like I have empathy. I'm sorry that that's hard for you, but like my top 5, like the people that I want to like bring to the Coover's house, right? And like my next executives are positive. They're uplifting. They want to bring out the best in people. They find the silver lining no matter how messy it gets, you know, like I know my avatar. So when I'm out and about, I don't really want to like focus on what I don't want, right? It's not like, ew, you're negative, like, ew, but I'm so clear because of those intention statements that I feel like I'm drawn to powerful people. I'm drawn to the influential people. Like I start talking to people and she's like, oh, I'm the vice president of iHeartRadio. I'm like, of course I'm talking to you, right? Like I'm led to these like magnetized, really powerful women. The second thing is like, have some urgency. Like there's so much, oh my God, what are they gonna think about me? What? Stop. Like, this is your business, right? And just be able to like be bold about what it is. And so there were some people that I had met and I sent on the way up, my husband and I took my stepdaughter and my best friend paddleboarding today. I was like, I'm not gonna have service and I'm definitely not taking my phone on the paddleboard, right? With my dog, like one of us is falling off. So I was like, I'm not gonna be without my phone for a while. So I sent out a bunch of messages with the little screenshot from the leaders in the loop that like today was the last bit of the promo. I like made a little GIF on it so the arrow pointed to tonight that they knew I wasn't like making it up. And I sent it out and I was like, hey, promo ends tonight. If you're interested in the 10% off and free shipping, make sure to check out with the link I texted you earlier this week. Like boom, 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 boom. That's not like, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm bugging them. I don't want them to be like, oh, I forgot to do it and I missed the promo. And literally we came back from paddleboarding and I had 3 enrollments. Like I literally looked at Ryan, I was like 3 enrollments by noon on a Monday. Like that's all right. Like, and I was excited, but again, whoever, I don't remember which of these beautiful ladies said, like you put all the conversations out there and the percentage of people that said no. If you guys saw how many people I run around and talk to, but not even like one bit of me is like, well, 57 people said no. I'm like 3 enrollments on a Monday, right? Like it's awesome. And it's what you are putting out that you're expecting. The other that Laura was talking about that I wanted to say about the networking. So I've hosted a lot of parties. I just did a Botox in Bubbles one or whatever I called it, my very first one. Interesting, fun. I am doing a collagen cocktails happy hour with Emily Sutherland and Kathy Durnick and Teresa, you know, at the end of the month. I'm doing them, but I will tell you, I like to go to other parties. And most people would think that I'm a poacher. I am not. I like to meet people, but I can easily identify in a group of people who I think would be really great at what I do. And I think of it on a way, if I was at another company's party and someone could see my skill set and my ability and they didn't talk to me and bring me over here, I would be unhappy, right? If like Jessica Rigner could go to a party and be like, girl, I'm gonna show you how to make $1 million in 2 years instead of 20 years. You need to look about what we're doing over here. I would be so grateful. So I go and I want to build relationships and I support the host or whatnot, but I connect with people and say, I've got to get a hold of you. I've got something I've got to chat with you about. And there's something so exciting. Like when we leave here, can you get coffee with me this week? I mean, it's a place that you don't have to do the hosting. You don't have to do the prepping. You don't have to do the cleaning. But yes, you want to bring me into a room of 20 other people that you've invited. Like, yes, thank you very much for making it easy. There are people everywhere. With the networking events, because this is where some of the enrollments have come from, I have not done a ton of networking over the last 2.5 years, like pretty much since the pandemic and things online. And I know people and I can meet people where I want to be. I haven't, and very intentionally have been to many different women's networking groups in the last month. I mean, many in a week. Like anyone texting me, I'm like, I'm at a networking meeting and I have done it. And people are enrolling. And I'm telling you this because it validates. You hear Jess and Nikki and Brandy and Holly and Ann and these top enrollers all the time say, nobody knows what we have. Like it blows my mind because on Instagram and on Facebook, where I'm constantly seeing Isagenix posts, like even though I love you all and I'm following you because I really know how great the collagen is and I want to find people who don't know how great the collagen is. I feel like all I see on social media is Isagenix posts and I'm in these things. Not even one person has heard of it. They're like, what is that? Like they look at the pictures. It is so validating that people desperately want what we have and are looking for this. And the teeny tiny last piece that I will just say, and could piggyback on what Laura said, because I know a lot of people are looking for enrollments and growth into the summer, is if the formal networking seems weird. Like, hi, you know, I'm a health and beauty, you know, partner with a global health and wellness company, or like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I help people with their health and their wealth, or that seems awkward for you. And those are generic. We obviously can help you with a better one. They can be. And sometimes there's an obligatory, like, oh, if they buy from me, do I have to buy from them? You never know who you're going to meet, Ryan and I just fired our lender. We are in the process of building a new home because I met a mortgage broker that impressed the mess out of me, you know? And I was like, I'm glad I went to that meeting, that we were going to save a ton on the interest rate and everything else because I met this person. It goes both ways, and you'll meet people that they will refer people. But if I was going to leave you with the idea of your avatar, go where you want to hang out. Like, don't go to where you don't want to be, because A, it's not fun, and you're going to find people that are not your people. So when Kisa said, like, we do this very differently, we do this very differently, and we both are thriving, you know, like all of us on this call are thriving, but you have to figure out what works for you. Like, I love indoor spinning. Some people don't. Do you know how many times I'm like, you come to Cycle Bar? And they're like, no, I don't want to ride a bike and go nowhere. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll meet you afterwards. But that's where I want to find people that do this business, because they're like me. They love to work out. They love community. They're very competitive. They care about the leaderboard. That's my avatar. So if you are someone who loves to hang out at the spa and you want to be able to do massages and take your team there, go make them a tax write-off, put them on your business account, right? Talk to somebody about it, right? The whole thing off as marketing, that you pitched the business, that you want to do an event with them. And while you're there and you're, you know, drinking cucumber water, waiting for them to take you back, talk to the person next to you, talk to the massage therapist, talk to the person who checks you out. And I promise you, somewhere along the line, someone is going to be thrilled about the collagen, about the elixir, about the shakes, whatever it has. You know, when they're eating cookies and bonbons in there, pull out some whey thins, maybe not Stinks, you know, have a peanut butter bite or an Ice of Delight or something fun, you know. I love to get those out, but just be so excited of where we are. So I want to leave you with another challenge, okay? First of all, Jess was supposed to have this call tonight, and she just texted me, Trinity threw up all over her and she had to hang up. So sorry that Trinity's sick and poor Jess has vomit all over her, but we actually swapped because next Monday is my birthday and I'm going to be in Aspen. So I said, hey, can we swap? And I did 2 in a row. So anyways, if you're curious what happened with the schedule, but last week I did this recruiting challenge, and I really wanted you guys to like reach out to a lot of people, active and new. I want you guys to think about your avatar. And I want you to share it with somebody. I want you to share it with your accountability partner. I want you to share it with your upline. I want you to share it with someone downline, and just say, this is my ideal business partner, my dream team, right? Like this is the type of person that I would love to run with. And I want you to share it with someone. And if you're not clear on it, get clear on it and do it in the next 48 hours. Like, name that person, right? What do they look like? How tall are they? What do they believe in? What type of music do they listen to? What type of car do they drive? Like, just think about who that personality is and the characteristics that they have. And when I first started this, I'm like, what do you want me to do? And Jennie would say, who are the top 3 people that inspire you the most in Isogenics? And she'd say, describe them to me. You know, why do they inspire you? And I love Susan Fly. I remember my sister being like, I feel like she's always yelling at us. I'm like, what? No way. Like, you know, she commands the room, and I think she's such a powerhouse. And there are some people my sister thought, oh my God, I love them. I'm like, are you kidding me? I can like barely stay awake. I'm like falling asleep, you know? This is why there's so many people out there. So just please promise me, put a 2 in the chat if you guys are going to commit to doing this. But get clear on your avatar. What does their lifestyle look like? What is their age? You know, what are their phase? What is their characteristic? Are they married? Are they single? Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? I mean, it's really true. You guys working with moms with little kids, not my avatar. Not my avatar. There is not breast milk and vomit all over my car, right? That is probably Emily Sutherland's avatar. She has a whole lot of things to connect on right now. So think about that and start to attract in your dream team. You guys are amazing. We love you. Please go crush the promo. You have 3 more hours. We'll see you in a week. Good night. Thanks, Jennie and Laura and Em and Kisa. You guys crushed it. Good night.